He grabbed the hammer and came to me and held it at my neck and said, "I'll kill you." Walk out the door again.
So you were kind of a prisoner in your own home, and you had your baby then as well. That I understand your baby is like about 4 years old now, 5 years old. But you couldn't even get the
running
mail.
out of milk. Can't go to the store and get milk because if you walk outside, you're in trouble.
This is Gotham Investigations, and I'm your host, Jeff Giordano, the Scorned Women of Miami. Elvis's song, Burning Love, could it have been misinterpreted with "I'm going to burn you, love"? You're going to meet a woman today, and she's going to tell you her story. Stay tuned. This is Gotham Investigations, and I'm your host, Jeff Giordano, the Scorned Woman of Miami. In a relationship where your husband is trying to discipline you, his dinner is not on the table, so he takes a curling iron and burns you. Punishment and pain, beatings beyond control. When will it ever stop? Well, we have a special guest on our show today, Shanika. We are not saying her last name out of her courtesy and also out of respect for her and her family. But she wants to get her story out there. She wants to get her story out of this pain and suffering, and she wants to tell women out there how they don't have to stand for this and how it may be time for you to get out of your relationship. Shanika, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Now, we first met a few years ago prior to COVID. Where did you get our information from that you contacted us?
A friend of mine knew a police officer that got in contact, that gave me the number to get in contact with you. And thank God, because you helped me.
Okay, I remember you didn't have the money to retain us.
Yeah, nobody got $3,500.
Yeah, $3,500 at the time. That was our starting retainer, and I kept turning you off, and you kept calling me back.
Calling back, begging. I was begging for my life as I was begging, pleading you to help at the same time.
So finally, I said, "I'll hear your story," and it was so passionate, and you were in such fear for you and your daughter that I says, "Shanika, I'm going to help you on this." It wasn't an investigation we did, but we kind of guided you and your family with the police department. We kind of handpicked one of the detectives from the city of Miami, brought him over there to hear your story, got a restraining order, set you up properly. They were able to get you some services from the county, eventually to get you back on your feet, food stamps, different things like that. They were able to put you in a safe house at the time, and now you're back on your feet. You're an assistant manager of a store. I mean, you got a fantastic story to tell. So let's start from the beginning, where you met this monster.
That's very. So I don't even remember where I met him. And that's funny because I don't care. But it was the point of I'm thinking everything was okay. Normal relationship up until the first babe. When I had my daughter, I think that's when the trauma started. I could not walk to the mailbox. Lord, to the mailbox. If I walked to the mailbox, I was cheating on him. Or it's somebody next door you're trying to see. I had hammers to my neck. Black
When you say
eye.
hammers to your neck, and you might want to speak up a little bit.
A full hammer. He grabbed the hammer and came to me and held it at my neck and said, "I'll kill you." Walk out the door again.
So you were kind of a prisoner in your own home, and you had your baby then as well. That I understand your baby is like about 4 years old now, 5 years old. But you couldn't even get the
running
mail.
out of milk. Can't go to the store and get milk because if you walk outside, you're in trouble.
And what gave him the
Pampers,
impression
anything.
that you were cheating on him? Is this just something
It's
that
just
came
his
to the head
mind.
after the child was born?
His mindset, I guess. I'm not even sure. It was just a click of like, he can be smiling, then the next thing you know, I'll get up and move. Oh, where you going? Come back here. And just all of a sudden,
And
the
I
day
remember
my
at the
daughter was holding my face with the napkin, saying, "Mommy, don't cry, it's gonna be okay," was the day I knew it was time for me to go.
Did he hit your daughter at all?
Never put his hands on her, but if he came home and her diaper was spoiled because she peed one time or I didn't change her fast enough, I was slapped down.
Okay. Explain us the time that his dinner was not on the table when he came home, and he took a curling iron, heated it up without you knowing it, and basically burned you.
I wear the scar to this day for the rest of my life.
Can we get some tissue here, Rosie?
He said he'll be home at 5. I was almost done.
It's going to be all right. I could see you crying. I could see you suffering. I could see the pain coming back. But it's important that we get your story out there because you may save a life telling one of these young girls out there your story.
Thank you. Excuse me. He said he'll be home at 5. I was almost done cooking. I think I was trying to mix up the macaroni and cheese, but the baby was crying. And he walked through the door and he went to the restroom thinking normal, okay. He came back with the curling irons and stuck it in my chest. Now you're scarred for life. You remember me.
And you couldn't even go to the hospital because he would think you were cheating on him. What did you do? Did you put ice? What did you do?
I just put butter like my grandmother taught me years ago. Let it calm down. When it started healing, I had to bust it myself. Neosporin and Band-Aids. All that got delivered to the house.
And your daughter witnessed all this?
Every moment of it. She still have nightmares to this day.
Was your mother and father both alive during this time?
No.
Both of them are dead?
Yes.
Did you have any sisters to turn to?
Nope. No one. No
Any
one
friends?
to help. The one friend that did try to help, I thought she was the one sleeping with them, so I never asked her.
So when you say sleeping with him, so let me hear what you're saying here. So he's accusing you of
Cheating because he
that-
was the one doing it the whole time.
and he was the one doing it the whole time. So he was overly aggressive towards you to put up this smoke screen, and he was the one cheating on you. How did you find this out?
I walked outside for the newspaper, and she was getting out the car, but they was hugging, like, oh, I just walked up, like if she just got there, you know. But the hug was too friendly, and that's when I started asking people about how can I get help.
Did you confront him with this?
Confront was a black eye or a bust lip.
So you gave him a black eye, or
No. That's what I always got. If
So-
I said anything about anything, black eye, bust lip, cigarettes, curling irons, hammers, locked in the house, keys to get in and out.
So I remember at the time he had deadbolt locks on, and you did mention that he would go and lock the doors where you couldn't get out. Of course, if you needed to, I suppose you could have went out through a window, but with a baby, that's not
That's
that
very
easy.
difficult.
It's very
huh?
difficult if there was a fire or an emergency. So your daughter looks at you and says, "Mommy, it's going to be okay." Brings you a tissue, and
Wipe the
you
blood
s-
off my mouth.
and you said that that's
That's it. I can't let her think this is okay.
What kind of past did he have? Was he married before? Did he have any other woman that you may have known?
Now I'm finding out that I would think I was the third or the fourth girlfriend, other than the one wife that left before after she got her, I think ribs broken or something like that, almost dead. This was a history. It's something he did to every girl he met.
And you were obviously not aware of this history when you got into this relationship. And as you said, things were very normal from the beginning until you had your child.
Yep. Once I had the baby, it was a wrap. I was his for life.
And you kind of felt obligated to stay in the relationship because
of my baby. I can't raise her. I don't have a job. I don't have any funds. How am I going to live? How am I going to take care of a child with nothing coming in?
So
Why
this-
would I allow her to be raised without her parents?
So this obviously had some mental impact on you as well as physical impact.
I didn't have a father myself to teach me what I was supposed to not be, get into as far as domestic violence relationships. And I didn't want her to not have her father there. But then now I weigh the options, like a father is a father, but not a father that's abusing the mother. Like, what is she still getting taught? The same values. I'm still doing the same thing that I didn't want to happen.
And did you experience any domestic violence in childhood with your parents?
No.
So this was all new for you.
And that's why I was confused. Why? I even got told, if I can't have you, no one would. And I'm like, what? If I ever tried to, I told him one time that it was over. If I can't have you, no one would. He'll kill me right now.
And what was the worst impact that he put on you physically?
The scar on my chest.
And
Because
that's-
even now, I still think and see it. He branded me for life, like he said.
So how hard was it when we finally got a restraining order on your behalf? We actually helped you with sponsoring the restraining order. When he was served, I remember you got those threatening phone calls from him that basically he
was
told you
killing-
you're dead.
Yeah. I will get a phone call saying, as soon as I say hello, oh, you're dead. I'm going to find you. You can never hide from me. I'm in your dreams.
And this is something I remember you had mentioned it to me at the time, but you actually believed that. And I was like, you have to tell this to the detective that originally did because stalking report, because it goes from stalking to aggravated stalking, which is a felony, and you didn't do that because you were in fear. So you had the police involved, you had him taken out of the household, you were taken to a safe space yourself. Can you explain that?
The safe space?
Yes.
The safe space is for a woman to feel like she's beautiful again. For all you women out there that think you're ugly, it's not true. When I went to Safe Space, I felt the ugliest person in the world. There's counselors there that teach you how to gain your confidence again. There's counselors there that shows you how you could make yourself look every day. They bring you, when they bring your lunch after they give you that moment to relax, they bring you your lunch, you'll always find a little secret little compartment where it's a little note that gives you something to lean on that day. You know, one lady told me, don't how did she say it? She was like, when life give you lemons, you just make lemonade. At the time I was like, what does that mean? Not to mention, I don't want to hear this right now. I'm trying to get my life back, you know? When I sat back and thought about it, the life giving me lemons was all the bad things that I've been through. And I made lemonade because look at me now.
And eventually, also, you got a little, you were always religious, but you got a little bit more religion inside of you, your daughter, and
read the Bible
that just
constantly.
Held you stronger.
Yes.
So how has religion played an impact in your life with all this?
Okay, well, I can say this. You always leaned on yourself all your life. If you let God lean with you, it's easier. It's easier. My daughter is in dance in church now, and she loves it. I see a smile on her face now, and that makes me happy.
So when you have the Lord on your side, it's kind of like you have a partner there standing by you. Your confidence builds,
yes,
and you can move on knowing that you have somebody there by your side.
Knowing that you got somebody on your side, somebody that's not going to let you down.
So do you ever wonder, like, where was the Lord when this was happening?
God won't let you go through nothing you can't bear. He knew when it was just too much pain to help me find someone like you to make me smile again.
Now you're going to make me cry. One of our scarves here. Here we go. Here we go again, Shanika, making me cry again. As if when all this was happening, it wasn't enough. But I understand your pain. I understood it then. I understand it now. But taking a stand, and would there be any identifiers when your daughter gets older and starts dating that you would look for in a man, that she wouldn't go through something like this?
The first thing is him wanting to control your every move. Like always calling you saying, hey, babe, where are you now? That's a very big ticker.
And that's how it starts.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts, wanting to know where you are at all times and what are you doing and who's around you. If you're at your sister's house, he doesn't need to know who's all in your house.
That must have been a journey, but a journey that now you could look back and identify bits and pieces of it and tell your daughter, tell other people out there what to look for. Because if you're a parent and you see your daughter or son dating somebody, because there's a lot of men that
Yes.
are abused as well, identifiers that it's time to stop, time to get out now before the pain and punishment comes, because it's coming. It's kind of like a bus going down a hill, with the broken brakes. It's
Yep.
once
And
it starts,
domestic violence
it's gone.
is real. It is real. It comes mentally, physically, emotionally. It's all the same thing. If he talks to you aggressive, that's violence. That's all of it together. It's not one thing. Just because he doesn't hit you, that doesn't mean anything. He's mentally abusing you. It's the same thing.
Now, I remember at the time, you found out also that he was selling drugs.
Yes.
And that kind of like, you were really horrified on that too. You didn't have nothing to prove it with the police because he wasn't bringing it there.
Bringing it to the house,
He would
correct.
go and he would meet with his guys, but sometimes these guys, can you tell us one of your scariest moment when he would bring some of these dealers to the house and they were planning their next deal?
The one I don't know. I just remember coming out of the room when he was talking, and it was three big guys, and they was already dressed in black, and and all I heard was the guns, like they was loading them. That was the worst thing, because I'm like, your daughter's in the house. You know, you have guys in here, don't know what their mental status is. They got guns. They could do anything to either one of us.
So probably, I mean, the best thing that happened were to you for your safety, and I guess your daughter's safety as well, even though it's not the best thing for your daughter, was when they finally arrested him after you were separated and everything. And
Correct.
Now he's actually in jail for murder.
And He shot one of the boys that was with him at the house that night. And he's in for murder.
So that's a hell of a way to feel safe, finally.
Yes, finally.
But it is comforting
to know where he is.
To know where he is and that he can't get you.
He can't get me.
Does your daughter ask about him?
No.
So she don't write him any letters? He doesn't write her any letters?
She doesn't ask. She doesn't ask. If you say anything about Dad, she remembers my face. So she doesn't like to talk about him.
And how's she doing in school?
School at times was hard. I needed to get a counselor. And that what Safe Space did. Safe Space got the counselor for both of us. It was a long journey, a lot of long nights. But now I can say she's close to a C, and she's doing very, very good.
So I remember that, obviously you couldn't pay your rent at the time. You had to get out. You could only stay in a safe space for so long. You did have, finally get a little help. Can you explain us what assistance you were able to get with the county and what Safe Space was able to provide you, the police department, the state attorney's office?
Safe Space provide me with enough resources to go to agencies to work as temps. And working at a temp for a year, if you do well, they hire you full time. I worked at a temp for this place. It's a fashion store for a year, in which I was able to move up inside the company. And I think that was another year. They helped me with a agency that gave me a voucher for furniture. They also helped me with the funds to get inside a place. They gave me a voucher for all kinds of dressers and clothes and everything for me and my daughter to get back on my feet. Once we was already in the place for a good 6 months, that's when they was able to not close the case, but give us a little bit more freedom. And, because I was working and she was back in school now. So it was a little bit more, but we still had counseling. And to this day, we still do counseling. We never stopped doing counseling.
So it's fascinating because a lot of our clients, the majority of our clients are high-end clients. They come from wealthy homes. They have a lot of money. And they can afford resources. They can afford getting another place. Mommy or daddy helps them out, pays their rent. They can afford getting clothes, and still it's hard for them to break out of these relationships. But in your case, you were brought to the ground level. You had nothing.
Yep, from the bottom.
And thank God for resources from the county, the police department. I know even the state attorney's office got
They helped me too, correct.
And it's not just like, oh, here you go, here's your voucher, get the hell out of here. It's kind of like, how you doing, Shanika? Same like me, I would contact you. How you doing, Shanika? And obviously, you're here today. You had you have a great man now. I know you've been in a relationship now for like the last 3 years.
Yes.
Tell us about your new man. And I know him well because he's worked for us plenty of times on the security side. And he's also a big guy, so we use him as a bouncer sometimes. So
True. Well, I felt like he was my guardian angel at one time.
I thought I was your guardian angel.
It seems like whenever I just needed someone to talk to, my phone rang. Like God just knew when to have him call my phone, just to have a conversation. How you doing? Make me laugh. That's the main thing about him. He makes me laugh. And I never had that. That's the most part that's very happy.
So he makes you laugh instead of
Very
cry.
happy. Yes. The tears that I pull now at home are happy tears, not because I have a bust lip, which is very nice.
And this is something that everyone out there should hear, listen to, know that there's hope to move on in life. You don't have to stay in a relationship if you don't want to.
And don't do it for the kids. Do it for yourself. Do it for you. Do it because you're tired. Because believe me, there's someone over that hill that is waiting for you with happy open arms that will love you unconditionally to make you happy. You don't have to stay.
There you have it, a fascinating woman with a horrible journey, but a journey that ended up victorious at the end. So, a fascinating story as well, Shanika. Thank you for being on our show. And
thank you.
You know I love you.
I love you too.
Are you a fan of our show? Do you like our show? Then comment, hit the like button, and subscribe, or you might be the next one we investigate.